Back to this afternoon on 4 and Channel 4 Racing from Newmarket.
It's an international doubleheader. Today, the Cambridgeshire is the feature event here at Newmarket.
And at Longchamp, warm October sunshine. The Bois has never looked more beautiful. Paris in the autumn is the place to be.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome to the busiest racing programme of the whole year, because today we bring you 9 live races from the racing capitals of England and France, Newmarket and Longchamp. Now here at Newmarket, after persistent rain, which is still coming down, the going is good. We've got a steamer in the 220. 30 runners go to post for the first leg of the autumn double, the William Hill Cambridgeshire. That's at 3:35. Further flight goes for racing history as he attempts 4 wins out of 4 in the Jockey Club Cup. So plenty to look forward to here at Newmarket and much, much more at Longchamp, where your host is Bruff Scott.
Hello everyone, and you're very welcome to Longchamp on an afternoon to treasure. For as we approach Europe's crowning day for the Arc tomorrow, we start with really glorious weather here. The ground is perfect, officially 3.4 on the penetrometer scale, that's good. 4 races live, including 2 in the highest category of all, the Group 1 Grand Criterium and the Group 1 Prix du Cadre at 3:15 and 4:20. Join us for our first, the Prix de Royalier at 2:15 with 6 English and Irish runners amongst the 11-strong field. No, we're not just here as tourists.
And there's a steward's inquiry going on at the Met Office. I don't know, every forecast I saw last night had it sunny, warm and clear and bright, and look at it, rain has never stopped. So it must be the office junior in charge of what normally is a first-class service from the Met Office. Steward's inquiry, sack a few people because of that, lads. We're all under the umbrellas here, looking ahead to the betting and the forecast and how the money's gone. We're in the 250. Del Dai has put in now 9-4 with 4-1. La Confederacio, they're the 2 best bet there. And the Cambridgeshire, as we told you on the morning line, 13 Jawal, that's now into 7-1, and 10-1, number 21 Ringmaster. They're the 2 back, Jawal and Ringmaster. In the 4:10 further flight, 11-8. And it's 7-4 against Cappius, and Victor Chandler's laid £8,000 bet at 11-8 and 7-4, those 2. So he's got a fair bet. If those 2 can get beat, it'll be good for the bookmakers. And the 4:45, number 4 Midwich Cuckoo, that's into 9-2 favourite, and a rag back, number 14 Tirolette. 25-1 and 20-1 Tirolette into 100-7. And in the last, Summertown is regarded as a lay-down in the last. You'll be lucky to beat even money, the bottom one, Summertown. But here we have the day's steamer, as we told you on the morning line, this Rise Up Singing, who is put in at 5-1 on the course, is now 6-1. Rise Up Singing, off course they laid it at 12-1 and 10-1 and downwards. On the course they can't get it here at 5-1. They have to let it go 6-1. Rise Up Singing, a cracking big steamer for Pat Edery.
Now, before we continue, let me bring you up to date with the latest news that shocked the racing world this morning. I'm talking, of course, about the death of Alex Scott. The popular 34-year-old Newmarket trainer was shot dead last night. It's reported he was killed by a single shot to the chest, and it's understood the police have found and arrested a man in connection with the murder inquiry. The 3 intended runners from the Scott stable have now been withdrawn from today's meeting. So in the 220, number 2 Mahul is a non-runner. In the 4:45, number 1 Linton Ladd is also a non-runner. And in the 5:20, number 8 Linton Lass also does not run. Now then, we have a very tight schedule ahead of us over the next 3 hours. Now, we're hoping to squeeze in live the 2:15 at Longchamp, which will be coming up in just a couple of minutes from now, before live coverage of the 220 here at Newmarket. Now, they're just leaving the paddock, so it's going to take quite a few minutes for them to get down. And this is a very, very competitive race. But the interesting point about this is a point that Big Mac highlighted on the morning line, was the flood of money that started very early this morning for a horse called Rise Up Singing. Some early birds and some of those on the morning line had 12-1, 10-1. I wonder what price he is now. John Tyrrell can bring us right up to date.
Agaderic and Rise Up Singing heads the market at 5 to 1. Billy Bushwhacker shows at 8 to 1, and Go With Bow on 10s. Fairy Story and Malitova both at 12s. Jato a 14 to 1 shot. Knobbly Knees and Madly Sharp and Persian Affair, together with Polar Storm and Northern Bird, are all at 16 to 1, and they go 20 to 1 bar those.
And happy birthday to JT. The voice of racing is 60 today. Enjoy yourself tonight, JT. And this is the steamer. This is the one that everyone's talking about. This is Rise Up Singing. Pat Edry on board. You'll be able to spot those blue blinkers. Will they be coming back in first place? We'll find out. We'll see the race live. That's right after we've been to Longchamp for the 2:15. Brum.
Yes, horses left the paddock here at Longchamp. I think first must tell you, shock and disbelief amongst racing circles here. The news, the tragic news about Alex Scott. Just been talking to Alex Head. He couldn't believe it. And ironically, there's a horse here owned by Maktoum Al Maktoum, in whose blue and white colours, of course, Alex saddled Cadeau Genero, his first really big winner in the July Cup. But we go on, the game goes on. The Prix de Royalieu coming up. It's over the 1.5 and another 110 yards of the Arc course. This is pretty crucial. If you look at the winning post for the Arc, it's not that, it's another 110 yards. So your own eye, when you're thinking you're going to get the winning post, you've actually got to get a bit further. And the person who's going to be most interested in of all, of course, is Yutaka Taki, who here has a ride round the complete Arc course, and of course 110 yards. He rides Royal Ballerina, one of 6 horses from the English and Irish Islands who are here in this race, the Prix de Royalieu, and Jim McGrath has been going through them.
And we have a total of 11 for you. Race Seeker, number 1, the Irish representative, one of 3 Irish representatives, ridden by John Murtagh. 2, Royal Ballerina, Yutaka Taki. 3, Solatica, Richard Quinn. 4, Dancing Bloom, Cassius Mouston. 5, Ankara, Sylvain Guillot, not Pat Edry, Sylvain Guillot. 6, Delara, Jérôme Mosse. 7, Yum Jadid, Freddie Head. 8, Noble Rose, Jason Weaver. 9, Papago, Thierry Janet. 10, Sunrise Song, William Wongill. And number 11, Ballyket Nancy, Seamus Heffernan.
So that's it then, they're lined up for this Prix de Royalieu, and in which Noble Rose is wearing a white sash and Delara wearing a red sash to distinguish the horses in the same ownership, and Ankara, Sylvain Guillot in the French jacket of Khalid Abdullah, that's green with the pink epaulets. Loading quite quickly, very, very prompt indeed. That's it, they race away, and smart to go was Race Seeker, who was second in the race last year, now joined by Delara, and Delara going on. From Ballyket, Nancy holding second. The one that's trailing is Yom Jadid, but it's Delara in the lead as they race away through the first furlong, with Race Seeker, who was placed in the race last year when a very warm favourite, and Cara racing third. Next to the rails is Papago running fast, taking quite a keen hold on the outside in pale blue is Dancing Bloom. Then we have Ballyket Nancy. Yutaka Taki is in the red jacket with the light blue sleeves, white cap towards the rear of this stage, along with Sunrise Song, and they go for the first quarter mile. And it's Delara at the head of affairs, putting the pace to the race to suit Race Seeker in second. Outside in the purple colours, that's Ballyket Nancy. The horse pulling very hard indeed is Dancing Bloom, with running the rail Ankara in the pink cap, and then one of the Sheikh Mohammed horses, Papago the grey, is settled in 5, followed through by Royal Ballerina in 6, and Sunrise Song in 7. On the outside is Solatica, and they continue their race out the back stretch, and they begin a right-handed sweep. As they do so, it's still Delara who leads by about a length to Race Seeker in second. Then running the rail third is Ankara. Wide of these is the Jim Bolger runner Ballyket Nancy. These are followed through by Papago, and then running the rail is Noble Rose for the Kumani camp in the maroon jacket, white sash, worn by Jason Weaver. The grey Sunrise Song follows that. Black with the yellow cap, Solatica at the back, and so too is Yum Jadid. They start the turn towards the false straight. They've got this turn and another turn to take, this turn and another turn to take, and it's Delara leading from Race Seeker in second place, then Ballyket down to the outside, then comes Ankara running the rail, with Dancing Blue, the Michael Stout runner in the very pale jacket and yellow cap. Royal Ballerina in behind these. Antarctica is one of the trailers now. Noble Rose trying to go forward. There's going to have to come through horses. This is the final turn at the top of the home run now, but they've still got 3 furlongs to go and they're starting to bunch, but it's still the pacemaker Delara that has the edge. Making ground next to the rails is Noble Rose, who's getting a run. On the very wide outside comes Utakataki. Royal Ballerina, the horse with the noseband, putting in a big finish. They've still got well over 1.5 furlongs to go, and it's still Delara who has it, with Noble Rose coming through on the inside. Royal Ballerina with a wide sweep next to the rail. Sunrise Song in the green jacket is finishing best of all. They've still got 1/2 furlong to go. Not this post, chaps, but it's still Delara who has it from Noble Rose and Sunrise Song as they race up towards the line. What a shock. Delara makes all. Delara, Noble Rose, Sunrise Song, the 1, 2, 3. These ahead of Royal Ballerina, and then swept home Papago with on the outside Dancing Bloom, and the field trail back to Antarctica, who was last of all. And so the result then of this, the Group 2 Pre-Royal Year, it's a win for horse number 6, Delara, in the distinguishing sash of His Highness the Aga Khan. This one trained by Alain Royer-Dupré, ridden by Gerald Mosse, for whom he was the 88th winner in the French city tracks, coming home to beat the second horse, number 8, Noble Rose, in the maroon jacket, white sash worn by Jason Weaver, and the third horse home was Sunrise Song, running the rail in green.
So turning in, an intelligent use of pace made by Gerald Mosse, just a good swinging gallop. How do we know that? Well, for most of the race, you'll see almost every horse bar Antarctica was pulling. They were always going a little bit too quickly for her. Almost certain indication here that as they sprinted up the straight and the horses didn't really finish tired. Note that the ground is certainly no worse than good, just kicking the top off. Now Gerald Mosse picks his filly up. You'll notice that earlier in the straight, the others were at it far sooner than he. A sure indication he'd horse left running under him. He stretches them now, goes away, and the question is, can one of those behind that are finishing well catch him? Important point to remember also, on the come the Arc, the big day tomorrow, the ground over on the far side where eventual third Sunrise Song races will be fresh ground. It might just be that little bit quicker. Sunrise Song's got a good run up the rail, so too is Jason Weaver, one out from her on Noble Rose, and outside Utakataki, well, you couldn't blame him for the defeat of Royal Ballerina. She just wasn't quite quick enough at the end. Something of a shock, but a winner for the Aga Khan, who for so long his company Chiga sponsored this day.
One race down here at Longchamp. We've got 3 more to come, and horses now at the post at Newmarket.
Yes, there they are. Different weather here at Newmarket. Lovely warm sunshine in Paris, and it's very damp here at Newmarket. It's been raining since about 5 o'clock this morning. The going is good, although one jockey who rode in the first described it as soft. There they are down at the start. Won't be long before they go around behind the stalls. 27 runners in this NGK Sparkplugs Quality Handicap. They're named by Rory Gilbert.
Thank you, Derek. Yes, 7 furlongs with the starting stalls over on the far side. Number 1, Ham and Eggs, drawn 5, John Reid, 20 to 1. Number 2, Mahul, tragically a non-runner. 3 is Billy Bushwhacker, drawn 11, Kevin Darley at 8 to 1. Number 4, Madly Sharp, Frankie Dettori at 16 to 1. Number 5, Knobbly Knees, wearing a visor, but not for the first time, drawn 8, Richard Hughes at 14 to 1. Blinkered again is number 6, PYRAMUS, Gary Milligan claiming 7 from the 26 stall at 25 to 1. 7, drawn 7, Jato, Patrick McCabe claiming 5, 14 to 1. Number 8, drawn 28, Chili Heights, John Carroll at 25 to 1. 9 is Persian Affair, the Mount Michael Fenton, Mickey Fenton that is, claiming the 3, drawn 20, 16 to 1. Also 16 to 1, number 10 from the 25 stall, Polar Storm with David Harrison. 11, drawn 22, Ertlon, Michael Roberts at 20 to 1. Also 20 to 1, number 12, drawn 9, Dry Point under Billy Nunes. And then 13, Malcolm Saunders, his horse, Napoleon Star, with Nick Adams from the 13 stall, 33 to 1. 14, drawn 15, Northern Bird, Michael Hills at 16 to 1. Number 15 is Footlight Fantasy, a 16 to 1 shot, drawn 10 with Gary Carter. Number 16 and drawn 23, Moonstrike, Wally Hood at 33 to 1. And then it's 17, drawn 19, Mullet Over, with Willie Ryan, a 12 to 1 shot, 18 from the 3 stall, that's towards the near side, Al Jazz, with Alan Mackay, 33 to 1. Then the 10 to 1 shot, number 19, Go With Bo, under Tony Whelan, claiming the full 7 from 17. Number 20 and drawn 4, Sobering Thoughts, with Jimmy Fortune at 20 to 1. Number 21, My Ruby Ring, Tyrone Williams from the 16 stall, 33 to 1. 22 is Lady Bouquet, 20-to-1 shot. She's drawn 12 with Ray Cochrane. And then 23, Fairy Story under Seb Sanders, claiming 5. 21, they're drawn, a 12-to-1 shot. 24, Rise Up Singing, Blinkered Again. This is the favourite, 6-to-1 at the moment from the 24 stall, partnered by Pat Edery. Number 25, Louisville Bell with young Corey Adamson, claiming 7, 33-to-1 from 27 stall. 26 on the other side of the course, drawn 2, Hilton's Travel, Jimmy Quinn, 25-to-1. 27 is Different Times, Nick Carlisle right against the near side rails with, as I say, Nicky Carlisle at 33-to-1. And finally, number 28, Gaunt Bleu, the 50-to-1 shot, partnered by Dale Gibson, and they're drawn 6.
The day's steamer, Rise Up Singing, was pushed out to 7-to-1 on the course from 5-to-1, but then Ladbrokes, The Magic Sign and Hills, showing the weight of money in the offices round the nation, reflecting, and it brought it back to 6-to-1 Rise Up Singing, 8-to-1 Billy Bushwhacker, 10-to-1 will go with Bow, and 14-to-1 Bar. The offices and you are on the day's steamer, Rise Up Singing. Top price now, 6-to-1.
Let's check out the eye catchers. There's about 8 more to go in. Well, in the paddock, Different Times stood out. On the course, going down to the start, Jato, that went down well. And in the betting ring, it had to be Rise Up Singing. If you're looking for a long shot, Madly Sharp, Frankie Dettori, you never know. But John Oakes and John Frankham, just quickly, what do you fancy here?
Well, you've got to fancy the course specialist Rise Up Singing in view of the wave of backing for him. This is the course where, the only course nearly, where he runs well, and history may repeat itself, because the last time Pat Edery rode him here, he came out of the same 24 box and won. That was his 7th win at Newmarket. Anything to beat him, John?
Well, there's about about 27. I think the interesting thing will be the pointer to the Cambridgeshire later on, see where the best ground is. The last one, oh dear, that's Dry Point, just misbehaving there. Rawley Gilbert's our man down there. All yours, Rawley.
Thanks, John. Yes, that was Dry Point. Awkward moments there for Billy Newns, but they're away, and a little bit slowly out of the stalls was Lady Bouquet, but fast away Fairy Story over on the far side. That's where the favourite Rise Up Singing is as well, but it's Fairy Story, the first leader, from Mullet over right on the near side, and running fast too is a Dry Point, but they've split into 2 very definite groups, and the far side group are Fairy Story with Mullet over, and right up there as well over that far side, PYRAMUS, Pole Storm there as well. On the near side, Hilton's Travel is running very fast indeed with Ham and Eggs, but the far side group still led by Fairy Story. Fairy Story followed now by Go With Bow in second. Erklon has made ground, and that's the brown cap right against the rails. They've covered the first 3 furlongs. Fairy Story still the leader on the far side. On the near side, it's Hilton's Travel from Sobering Thoughts there as well. They've just passed halfway in this NGK handicap. Let's have a look at the near side group. Hilton's Travel still in the yellow-blue spots ahead of Sobering Thoughts, and then Gaunt Bleu very prominent with Jato as well. These are tracked by Different Times, and they're coming down past the bushes and racing in towards the dip. On the far side, it is Fairy Story being collared and passed now by Go With Bow. Madly Sharp is trying to close on those 2. PYRAMUS up the centre. On the near side, Sobering Thoughts has gone on with Jato finishing well, but the far side group have it. And it's Go With Bow. Tony Whelan being pressed by Madly Sharp. There won't be much in it. Go With Bow just for Madly Sharp. The long-time leader, Fairy Story, in third. In 4, Billy Bushwhacker. Then PYRAMUS, Northern Bird, followed in by Jato, Moonstrike, Sobering Thoughts. Then reading back to Different Times, Version Affair, and Erklon. Last in the end was Owl Jazz, and last but one, Dry Point. But meanwhile, down the course now, Rise Up Singing. Did you see what happened to him? I certainly didn't. He was pulled up, and pretty early on, obviously, in the race. So all the steamer, and he looks lame, and all the steamer's money, which made him favourite, sent off as favourite, all to no avail, sadly. Let's hope he's okay. Certainly the jockey is Pat Edery, but a dismal start then for favourite backers here on Cambridgeshire Day at Newmarket. Let's just confirm the outcome there. For me, it was certainly number 19, Bow With K, who got it, owned by Mr. C.O. Sparrowhawk, trained at Epsom by Jeff Lewis and partnered by the very talented £7 claimer Tony Whelan. On the near side, the red jacket, white sash, that is Madly Sharp, who finished second under Frankie Dettori. Close up third, having made so much of the running in the blue and yellow. That's a Fairy Story, one of the fillies. She was number 23. and ridden by Seb Sanders. Fourth there, Billy Bushwhacker, the winner, returned at 9-1.
Well, the thing you can say about this is the fact that it's been a significant advantage to be drawn high here. All four, in fact, you can see they've probably pulled some half a dozen lengths clear of the horses running up the stand side, even though they've drifted to the middle of the field. As we pick it up at the moment, there's a steward's inquiry just been announced, and I'm not surprised, because just have a look, because Go With Bo, with the see his flashy white stockings on his front legs, he's taken it up here underneath Tony Wellen, going for home. He's got his whip in his right hand. Now just watch, how much does he hamper the eventual second horse, Madly Sharp? Just beginning to meet the rising ground here. Fairy Story over to the left in the yellow colours. There's no doubt that he's taking Madly Sharp over Frankie Dettori with his whip in his left hand, and it was just right in the last 25 yards. Maybe it just looked worse from the side on than it does from the head on. No doubt that he's come over this horse. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Whether it's affected the outcome, well, that's for the stewards to decide.
The mystery down the course is what happened to the favourite Rise Up Singing. I'm afraid he's evidently in discomfort. As a matter of fact, that he walks away. John doesn't look hobbling leg.
Well, no, he looks fine now. I think Pat obviously thought that he'd done something to his hip originally, but he can't be in too much pain for the simple reason that he's been taking his weight off of one leg, then the other, and he's had his ears pricked. Looks perfectly happy, this horse. Maybe just had a little bit of a twitch. Trainer Willie Musson's just come down now to have a look at things, but really the horse looks absolutely fine. Obviously something went wrong with him. Maybe sometimes horses can just displace a hip and go very lame, and I can just remember catching a glimpse of him at some stage, and he was coming over very quickly to the left. You just see there, he's obviously not right behind, just very stiff there. Looks very sore now.
And not only very sore as the horse Rise Up Singing, the backers are as well, the 6-1 favourite. Here comes the result of the photo now. Go With Bo wins at 9-1. The runner-up, they're waiting to call it. It should be Madly Sharp, we think. Second, Madly Sharp at 20-1. Number 3. Third is number 23, Fairy Story at 14-1, and the fourth, Billy Bushwhacker at 7-1. So the 9-1 third favourite, Go With Bo wins. It was a 14-1 chance in the offices this morning. That was before the withdrawal of Mahol. It was a very big price, of course, Mahol, and it was 10-1 until near the offer. A lot of boards were going 8, and the SP men split it to 9-1. There wasn't much 10-1 on offer at the death. 9-1 Go With Bo, 20-1 Madly Sharp, 14 Fairy Story, 7-1 Billy Bushwhacker, wins by half a length and a neck, and the disappointing steamer Rise Up Singing pulled up 6-1.
First, number 19, Go With Bo at 9-1. Second, number 4, Madly Sharp, 20-1. Third, number 23, Fairy Story at 14-1. And the fourth horse, number 3, Billy Bushwhacker at 7-1. Number 14, Rise Up Singing, was the 6-1 favourite. That was pulled up. Non-runner 2 and 27 runs.
Just looking at the time of that race, it was a couple of seconds slower than standard, so the rain is beginning to get in. And looking at that, the most interesting point to come out of that race was that the draw in the big race later on, the Cambridgeshire, is going to play a vitally important part. It looks as if those drawn high are going to have a definite advantage. So I'm not saying it's going to make all the difference, but looking at that race there, I think it will be. Now, Rise Up Singing is being bandaged down at the down the course, and obviously there's some distress here with the horse. That's the off hind that they're bandaging. We'll keep you posted with exactly what happened to Rise Up Singing, and we'll also be looking back on the first race this afternoon when you rejoin us right after this break. Welcome back to Newmarket. Still got that steward's inquiry going on. Now, we had a look at the head-on. I've just had a quick chat with Bill Watts, the trainer of the second, Madly Sharp, and Frankie Dettori reported as he dismounted that the winner did carry him across the track. At the moment in the betting ring, they're betting 5-1 on Go With Bo to keep the race. I think there's 50-50 chance either way. It'd be very interesting to see what the stewards make of that. Anyway, the whole of the day's racing here at Newmarket has been overshadowed by the death of 34-year-old Newmarket trainer Alex Scott. Alex Scott was shot last night, and it's understood a man has been arrested. It was here, where I'm standing now, on Thursday, that Walter Swinburne rode into the winner's enclosure on Alex's last winner from Joe Mercer, the owner, Maktoum Al Maktoum. And there's Alex in the background. We're talking to him. Anyway, his death has shaken the racing world. And before racing today, the chairman of Newmarket Racecourse, Peter Player, asked everyone here at Newmarket today to pay their respects.
I make no apology for starting today's meeting here on a somber note. A tragedy has overtaken Newmarket and racing with the death last night of Alex Scott. He was a very talented trainer. He had a huge circle of friends, and we will all miss him, but none more so than his wonderful wife, Julia, and their 3 very young children. Can I therefore ask all of you to stand in silence for just a few moments as a mark of respect and to show our great sadness. Thank you all very much for that. I hope you have a great afternoon's racing, because that is what Alex would have wanted you to do. Thank you all very much.
The first race this afternoon was the Oh So Sharp Stakes, named after Sheikh Mohammed's Triple Crown heroine. It was a listed race, 7 furlongs for 2-year-olds. We had 8 of them, and it was a very interesting contest. This was the one the punters latched onto before the off. This was All-Time Great, ridden by our guest on the morning line, Frankie Dettori. Her record, 1 run, 1 win. That was a good one. Could she make it 2 out of 2? Before we see the race, let's call in on the birthday boy to get the betting at the off, JT.
Thank you, Derek. And All-Time Great was the 15-8 favourite. Hawaii 100-30 and Poppy Carew at 7-2. Sierra Estrella and Germain were both at 12-1. Dom 1 was at 14-1. Fantasy Racing on 20s. And Fresh Fruit Daily, 33-1.
Under orders, and they're off, and Sierra Estrella just a little bit slowly away, right on the extreme outside, but fast out of the stalls is Dom 1, and it's Dom 1 who is making the early running in company now with Fantasy Racing on the inside. These two, Fantasy Racing with the visor on for the first time. Then Hawaii, the white-nosed man, Germain, the red white hoop sleeves, and then comes the outsider, Fresh Fruit Daily. They've completed the first 2 furlongs now, and it's Fantasy Racing taken into the lead by Richard Hughes, going on by half a length from Dom 1. Then Germain tracking these 2, Hawaii on the extreme left of your picture, that's Poppy Carew. And they're coming now down to halfway in the Oh So Sharp Stakes. The back markers at the moment include the favourite All-Time Great, and last of all is Sierra Estrella. Down towards the final 3 furlongs they come, with Fantasy Racing against the rails, still leading from Dom 1. Poppy Carew taking closer order, as is Hawaii. All-Time Great with the white cap over on the outside, making a little headway too, as the field now come on down inside the final 2.5 furlongs. And it's Fantasy Racing still matching strides with Dom 1, Poppy Carew being ridden in 3rd. Hawaii coming quite strongly, so too on the outside, All-Time Great, but having to be rousted along by Frankie Dettori. Sierra Estrella is making ground too. Germain was looking for room and didn't get much of it. Fresh Fruit Daily is still out of the pack. There's only about 10 minutes between first and last. It's Hawaii now in front. Hawaii, who is bidding for this 4-timer, going on by a length and a half from Germain. Germain got through all right in the end and is bustling up Hawaii, but it's Hawaii who lands her 4-timer from Germain. Poppy Carew in 3rd and 4th, the outsider, Fresh Fruit Daily, and the favourite, All-Time Great, last but 2.
First, number 6, Hawaii, 100-30. Second, number 5, Germain, 12-1. Third, number 7, Poppy Carew at 7-2. Number 1, All-Time Great, was 15-8 favourite and 8 ran.
The steward's inquiry into the last race is still going on. They're making an announcement. This is not the steward's inquiry, but it does look as though this Go With Bo is in trouble. Now, they asked for 8-1 on, bet 8-1 on early on. Now it's 7-2 on. They're asking for Go With Bo, who was quite well backed in the race, and it's only 2-1 now, Madly Sharp. They took the 3-1 and 5-2 Madly Sharp. So feeling down here is certainly that Go With Bo is going to have quite a lot going for it to hold the race. And as though it's odds against Madly Sharp, therefore odds on Go With Bo, it is in trouble, and that's why the steward's inquiry is taking so long. But in America, of course, they take 2 or 3 minutes, they get them over with. Here, it delays everything. The bookmakers can't pay out. Great crowds beside the bookmakers. Many of them have backed Go With Bo and the each-way horses. The whole thing really knocks back the whole day and costs the industry fortunes, these prolonged stewards' inquiries. But they have started betting on this race now, and they're back to 2-1, the top one, Del Dyer, from 9-4. It's been all age since 74. 7 favourites and 20 runnings have won it, and it's 2-1 Del Dyer. It's then 4-1 La Confederación. That was back to the officer this morning. 5-1 Bar, that's Maidment, number 5, and the bottom one, State Crystal, a 5-1 chance. And it's 8-1 against Relatively Special, and 10-1 Interim, and 8-1 Horges. But if you back Go With Bo, you're sweating now, aren't you? We're not the only ones getting wet.
Absolutely right, but it could be interesting if that comes through while we're at Longchamp. We'll flash it up on the screens straight away. So let's go live and rejoin Rough Scott.
The horses gathering for the start of this pre-dollar. It's Group 2, 3-year-olds and upwards. It's over a mile, a furlong, and 165 yards. You're looking down across the track. You see there's a bit of a hill here. You run sweep down right-handed. It's the thing to really remember about the Arc when you get to the Arc field, which is this last mile, last 7 furlongs, is all downhill until you get into the straight. Anyway, here we've got 6 runners, 2 from Britain, Mistlecat and Alderbrook. Let's have the list from Graham.
And the front-running Jeune Homme is ridden by Utakataki, Mistlecat by Wendell Woods, and French Park by Gerald Mosse. The progressive and game Alderbrook is ridden by Paul Edery, Diadem by Olivier Pestier, and Volachine by Cash Asmussen, and they're loading the stalls for this Group 2 pre-dollar. So just 2 to load, and the front runners in the race to look for are Jeune Homme and Mistlecat, supplemented earlier in the week by Newmarket trainer Sean Woods. The grey Mistlecat, ridden by his brother Wendell, just about to slot into the stalls. They have between them one end just under £1 million in win and place prize money, no slouches. The best win to run ratio is by Alderbrook in the blue and white jacket there, worn by Paul Edery. 10 wins from 21 starts, and the horse is entered in the Champion Stakes, Dubai Champion Stakes. Race away then, and it is Jeune Homme who puts pace with the Diadem, the red cap on the outside, and the grey Mistlecat. And the pace very much as projected, with Mistlecat showing the way to Diadem. Jeune Homme, Utakataki in the spotted jacket in 3rd, showing that position with Alderbrook just in front of French Park and Volachine in the hoops worn by Cash Asmussen. Through the first quarter mile, it's a good pace, and it's set by Mistlecat by length. The Diadem on the outside, showing 3rd running the rail is Alderbrook in the blue and white. The spotted colours of Jeune Homme, and then the striped sleeves of French Park, and the hoop cap out the back is Volachine. Little change in the order as they make their first turn, with Mistlecat leading. Made all when he won at Newbury. This would be a personal best if the horse could win a Group 2. To Diadem in 2nd place. Alderbrook runs the rail 3rd. Jeune Homme goes with him. A length back to French Park, and the back marker is Volachine. This is the second last turn. They've got just over half a mile to go, and it's still Mistlecat leading from Diadem, the red cap, and then Alderbrook the inside spotted colours Jeune Homme, followed by French Park, who's won 2 of his 10 races, and Volachine tracks some Cash in the catbird seat out the back at this stage as they make this final turn. Once again, it's the second winning post they're aiming for, and it's Mistlecat who leads the charge. Alderbrook gets a run next to the rails. Jeune Homme in the spotted colours. Red cap Diadem. French Park looking for room. Cash sitting pretty on Volachine, and got a lot of horse with a quarter of a mile to go. Mistlecat still has the edge. Alderbrook, what a game horse he is. Comes through to raise the game next to the rails. It's Alderbrook going on from Mistlecat. Striped sleeve jacket. Here comes French Park. But look at Cash on the outside on Volachine. He's got 150 yards to go. 2 legs to make up. On Alderbrook is nothing if not game, but Volachine has a late thrust, but Alderbrook's going to hold on. Alderbrook Brook's going to take it. Brook is the winner. Voloshin can't catch him. French Park is third. Misselcat is 4, back to Jeune on 5, and 6 of 6 was Diadem. And so the result then of this, the Prix Dollar. What a wonderful horse it is. Number 4, Alderbrook, in the colours of Mr. E. Pig, trained at Newmarket by Julie Cecil, ridden by Paul Edery, and this horse who just doesn't seem to know when to stop improving. And it'll be interesting to see if Julie lets him take his chance at the Dubai Champion Stakes, and this progressive horse must have a chance, a 5-year-old he is. Second horse home is number 6 of Voloshin. Third we find number 3 French Park. Voloshin ridden by Cash Asmussen, who was sitting with a lot of horse with a quarter of a mile to go, but he didn't reckon on Alderbrook. He didn't know how good he was. He hadn't been to Pontefract early on to see Alderbrook battle up that hill. But since that win at Ponty, he's won 5 times last year. He got into all sorts of trouble at Goodwood last time, but still had the pace to come and take that his last race in style. He's got a good run through next to the rails here, ridden by Paul Edery.
So turning in the grey Misselcat, who'd lugged away from the rail the whole way, maybe not quite so happy on this right-handed turn. On his inside, Paul Edery on Alderbrook, about to come and grab him. Further out, Utake, dark green, white spots, dark blue sleeves, white spots also. Jeune Homme. And as you probably saw in running, Cash Asmussen cruising on Voloshin, and your initial reaction may be, well, Cash has overdone this, but just watch his horse. As we come back from that close-up shot to go wide, you'll see almost immediately as we go back through that picture. Watch him now. He comes alongside Jeune Homme, and he definitely tries to have a nip at him. Still on the bridle. We go past now. Oh, maybe we've missed it, but he definitely early in the straight that happened. Driving for the line now, Alderbrook and Paul Edery. They've still got a 2-length gap. Asmussen's horse starts to come off the bridle. He stays on well, but he's not going to get there. That incident that I tried to point out, you obviously took earlier in the straight. Apologies for that. Paul Edery driving for the line now. Alderbrook's sire Ardross just failed in an arc here early in the 80s. This horse has shown equal courage, and he's made it first.
So there, Alderbrook wins this one, and let's take the earlier result from the Prix de Royalier.
The 2:15 at Longchamp, and it was won by number 6, Delara, second number 8, Noble Rose, and third number 10, Sunrise Song. And the Paris Mutual return, the winner paid 3 francs exactly. The places 260, 160, and 8 francs exactly. The Jumelé, that's the forecast, paid 1960 and 11 rand.
First blood to the Taurus. Alderbrook there, Paul Edery, congratulations to him, and pass the 6 bag please. I think that was a certain person's charity bet round here. So we're ahead of the game for a change. Let's hope we stay there. Come back after the break.
And before we return to Longchamp, news from Newmarket, where after the 2:20 Stewards' inquiry, the result stands. The SP once again, 19 Go With Bow, 9-1, 4 Madly Shard, 20-1, 23 Fairy Story, 14-1, and 3 Billy Bushwhacker at 7-1. 14 Rise Up Singing at 6-1 was the favourite, non-runner 2 and 27 ran. And a Goodwood, the 2:15 went to number 8 King Ballant at 5-1, second number 6 Shirky, 10-1, and third number 7 Bob and Lynn at 9-1. 3 In Waiting was 3-1 favourite and 10 ran. Chepstow, the 2 o'clock, the winner number 3 Go Universal, 12-1, second number 7 Watermead, 50-1, and 2 Flyaway, 25-1. 4 Senior Steward was the 5-4 on favourite and 12 ran. The 2:35 went to number 3 Dark Den, 2-1 favourite, second number 6 Allegation at 9-2, and third number 19 J, 7-1, 9 ran. Utoxeter, the 2:05, the winner number 4 Sir Telemar, 9-2 favourite, second number 8 Heart of Spain, 8-1, and third number 7 Fine Sir at 20-1, 16 ran. The 2:35, first number 13 Baby J at 8-1, second number 1 Ullswater, 14-1, and third number 10 Brig Tina at 12-1. Number 2 Dominion Treasure was 5-1 favourite, 15 ran. At Kelso, the 2:20 went to number 5 Reaver's Rock, 13-8 on favourite, second number 3 Memorable, 13-8, and third number 4 Naran at 11-1, 5 ran.
Oh, right.
Here's Paul Eddery. We said first blood for the tourists. Congratulations and thank you, because it was a charity event.
Yeah, thanks very much.
A crucial question, everyone looking forward to the Arc. What's the ground actually riding like?
Well, it's riding on the soft side of good at the moment. It's no worse than that, and with today being so dry and everything, dry night tonight, the ground, be no excuses tomorrow, the ground will be perfect racing ground tomorrow.
And Paul, you were actually one of the few people wanting it to get softer, weren't you, for all the book?
Yeah, I was actually. I walked the track earlier this day and I was hoping it'd be a bit softer than what it was, because he really likes the mud, really. But he's adaptable, but he's just not as good when the ground's a bit lively. But he handled it well today.
And you had a good cut from the turn anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I followed Muscle Cap, which I thought was one of the dangers. And I've actually had to go a bit sooner than what I wanted, because it's a long way up that straight.
Well, and of course, this time it's a second winning post.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, I just thought Wendell's horse was going to roll back on the fence, so I had to go a bit sooner than what I wanted. But there's one thing about this horse, he's a very good horse when he's on his song, and he keeps going, and he gallops right to the line. He's a very good horse.
Looking at it, we walk up the track, Paul, he looks very, very wide and staring at them.
Well, it is. I think that's why quite a few horses probably get beat here when they go a little bit early, because, you know, they're looking at the stands, big stands, and especially tomorrow with all the people here, I just think it puts them off a little bit. It didn't put him off much. He stuck his head out all right.
When you went past the first winning post, there was no question of it. You didn't think that was the end this time, any nonsense like that?
No, I made sure I knew which one was the winning post.
Everyone this week's got thoughts on the Arc. What if you had to have one? What would you have?
Well, I can't see why everybody knocks this Millstream. He's won 10 races, 2 Group 2s, 2 Group 1s. He's got the credentials to win it. I think he'll run a big race.
Will come the pride of Poe, but anyway, much more important things for Paul Eddery. Coupling coming up. How will he handle things?
Well, he's won at Royal Ascot, won over the trip. I think he'll run a big race. The race wasn't run to suit us at Doncaster with Arcadia Nights. We didn't go very quick, and I think the extra 4 furlongs will suit him today. I think he'll run a very big race.
What do you think about the gallop? Do you think that Lucas also go on, or will you actually attack things if they don't go fast?
Well, I think there's safety numbers is in there, and obviously Mr. Kamani's horse is there as well. Between the pair of them, I think it'll be a good gallop.
Cool, thanks for giving us a great start. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Bruff.
And congratulations to trainer Judy Cecil. Not only has she had a big winner at Longchamp, I've just heard that Dark Den has won the free hurdle at Chepstow. So that's quite a double today for the Newmarket trainer Judy Cecil. They're arriving at the start for the 255, the Sun Chariot Stakes. And one I'm very much looking forward to seeing here is the horse in the maroon with the white sleeves, La Confederation, because this one is a daughter of the Jewel Oaks winner, Unite. Before we close up on the runners and riders, let's have them named by Rory Gilbert.
Thank you, Derek. Yes, a mile and a quarter this time. The field headed by Del Dea, number 1, and ridden by Frankie Dettori, the 7-4 favourite. 2 is Harwages, Walter Swinburne, 7-1. 3, Interim, Pat Eddery at 14-1. Number 4, La Confederation, Kevin Darley at 9-2. The draw, of course, of no importance in this race. Number 5, Maidment, Michael Hills, 13-2. 6, Relatively Special, John Reid at 7-1. And finally, number 7, State Crystal. She's ridden by Willie Ryan, and the odds at the moment 11-2. 7 runners then for the Sun Chariot.
Let's close up on the favourite, number 1, Del Dea. There she is. This season she's progressed into a high-class filly. She's won 2 group races at Newmarket and the Curragh, but perhaps ran a best race in defeat in Ireland last time out, when she was just caught close home by Cezanne in the Guinness Champion Stakes at Leopardstown.
Into the last furlong and a half, Del Dea tackled by Cezanne. Mutaran trying to run on in third. Grand Lodge under the stick on the outside. They're inside the final furlong. Del Dea and Cezanne. Mutaran coming on the outside with Grand Lodge well inside the last 100 yards. Cezanne, Del Dea, Mutaran the near side. Cezanne just in front as they go to the line. Cezanne and Mick Canaan win the Irish champion. Del Dea second, Mutaran 3, Grand Lodge 4.
That gallant failure was very likely Del Dea's best performance of the year, although she's been consistently excellent all year. She won the Earl of Sefton and then won the Pretty Polly at the Curragh, and was only just beaten by Harwages, who she meets again today in the Nassau Stakes at Goodwood, and she's £7 better off with Harwages for only half a length, so ought to turn those tables.
Yeah, she's the only 4-year-old in this race. She actually ran in the corresponding race a year ago, ran disappointingly, and she certainly ran out of her skin there at the Curragh. That's relatively special going in Also, Howard-Geese, who's been remarkably consistent, 3rd in the English Oaks, 2nd in the Irish Oaks, won the Nassau Stakes. Water Swimmers on her. Got the last one going in, La Confederation, and Pat Edry on interim. Simon Holt's down at the start. All yours, Simon.
Thank you, John. Interim, the last one to go in here. And Interim's Dam, Intermission, won the Cambridgeshire on this day back in 1976. They're all lined up then, 7 runners for this Sun Chariot, and away they go. And Howard just interestingly restrained leaving the stall. She's made the running before in her races. The early lead is taken by State Crystal with the red cap. On the outside, yellow jacket Del Dea, and then racing between them is Made Mint, followed next by Relatively Special nearest the camera, and then Interim back in the field with Howard-Geese, and finally La Confederation in the sheepskin noseband. Del Dea settling out to make it now by 2 or 3 lengths to State Crystal, and then Maidment is 3rd on the outside, followed next by Relatively Special, Interim, La Confederation, and finally Howard-Geese. Running towards the final 7 furlongs or so, and the leader is Del Deo, just upping the pace a little by 3 lengths to State Crystal 2nd, then Maidment in 3rd, followed by Relatively Special, Interim, La Confederation, and finally Howard-Geese. They've got 5.5 furlongs left to gallop. Here's Rawley in the grandstand.
Yes, with Del Dea still spearheading the group, and they're racing right in the centre of this wide rolling mile. Coming to halfway now in the Sun Chariot Stakes, Del Dea, the 1-4-year-old, she still leads from State Crystal, who's been very prominent throughout, remaining 2nd. After those 2 in the purple and yellow, that's Maidment hanging on quite well as Interim makes little ground on the near side, the noseband in La Confederation. They've just passed the 4 furlong marker, and Frankie Dettori still has the favourite Del Dea ahead, but only narrowly from State Crystal now moving into 2nd. Then after those 2, Interim making ground on the near side, still improving her position, La Confederation. After them is Relatively Special. Howard-Geese still has it all to do, and the one dropping back now last of all is Maidment. So they come down past the bushes, and we're just over a quarter of a mile to go. The pace really quickening up, and it's State Crystal who's finding the best speed at the moment. State Crystal takes it up from Del Dea. Relatively Special with the white cap coming quite strong. Interim is still there, and La Confederation on the near side looks a danger to all of them. State Crystal just inside the final furlong. State Crystal being pressed and passed by La Confederation, who is produced very late by Kevin Darley, but he's going to win this one all right. La Confederation gaining with every stride. It goes on to winning almost 2 lengths from State Crystal. In 3rd place, Relatively Special. 4, the disappointing favourite, Del Dea. 5 was Interim. In 6th place, way back, Howard-Geese, and 7th and last was Maidment. So the Sun Chariot Stakes has gone to number 4, La Confederation, owned and bred by Sheikh Mohammed, trained here at Newmarket by David Loader, his 34th winner of the season, this 5-to-1 shot, and it was number 136 for Kevin Darley. 2nd, number 7, State Crystal under Willie Ryan. 3rd was number 6, Relatively Special under John Reid, and 4th, and only 4th, was the market leader Del Dea. Well, we pick him up inside the final furlong. State Crystal in the red cap, who was always prominent, really never worse than 2nd. And she quickened up quite nicely, but La Confederation came from some way off the pace, and none of them had an answer to her finishing burst in the end. That's La Confederation winning now for the 3rd time in her last 4 starts.
Yeah, she's only had 4 starts, Rawley. This is the unknown quantity in the field. Coming up trumps, as her breeding suggested she might, by the great Nureyev, out of an Oaks winner. You can't have that much better pedigree than that. And this is only her fourth race of her career, and what a good use Kevin Darley makes of her speed. They tried to hold up Howard-Geese, and you'll see it worked in the Walter Swinburne managed to settle her, but she doesn't really produce anything. At this stage, I thought State Crystal, as she comes past Del Dea, I thought State Crystal might hold on and pay a tribute to the Vermeer winner, Sierra Madre, but she can't hold La Confederation.
Well, there's only a length covering these 5 fillies with half a furlong to go, and it's La Confederation who's actually just quickened up the best of the lot. And she was with Andre Fabre at the start of the season, joined David Loader just a few months ago, was very impressive at Yarmouth, and given a really good ride by Kevin Darley. Let her find her feet early, and she was the one who had a bit of speed at the end.
La Confederation backed in the offices this morning, and that's why it opened here at 7-2, but pushed out on the course, returned the 5-1, clear 2nd favourite. The runner-up, State Crystal, sent off at 11-2, and the 3rd, Relatively Special, an 8-1 chance. They backed Del Dyer down from 11 to 4 in the offices, 9 to 4 on the course, and returned her the 7 to 4 favourite. But La Confederación not unfancied in the morning, or really on the course, and of course ridden by Kevin Darley, and in the next race he's got the Cambridgeshire favourite Jawal. He'll be riding that. Will it be a double for Kevin Darley? He started it off with La Confederación at hand, 5 to 1.
Well, La Confederación, only a very lightly raced. 2 runs for André Fabre. She's quite beautifully bred. By Noreev, of course, was disqualified after winning the 2,000 guineas, but has been a roaring success at the stud, siring winners like Sonic Lady, Soviet Star, Theatrical, and numerous others. And as for the dam, Unite by Chris, well, she won the Oaks. So, as I say, it's difficult to imagine a very much better pedigree, and La Confederación will no doubt end up at Sheikh Mohammed's stud and added to the wonderful list of broodmares he already owns.
First number 4, La Confederación at 5 to 1. Second number 7, Stay Crystal, 11 to 2. And third number 6, Relatively Special at 8 to 1. Number 1, Del Dyer, was the 7 to 4 favourite. The tote pays £7 for the win, £7.10 rather for the win. The places 2.80 and 2.30. The dual forecast came to £19.30 and 7 ram. Anna Goodwood in the 2.45. The winner here, number 6, Bagshot at 8 to 1. Second number 9, Deeply Veiled, 10 to 1. Third number 1, Astrack at 8 to 1. And the fourth horse, number 15, Desert Law at 5 to 1. Number 8, North Reef, was 4 to 1 favourite. Non-runner 18 and 17 ran. And a Kelso, the 250, went to number 2, 4D at 4 to 1. Second number 4, Fortune's Girl, the 5 to 4 on favourite. And third number 1, Uno, 9 to 4. 4 ran.
I'm now in the winner's enclosure. David Loader, the trainer. Anthony Stroud, Sheikh Mohammed's racing manager. How did you get this horse? Because this horse was trained in France.
Well, Anthony, she had a problem with the stalls in France, and she came over to be schooled up in the Monty Roberts manner with the rug, as you probably saw at the start. And Anthony very kindly and Sheikh Mohammed decided to send her to me, and I was always delighted to get her, and she did everything right in her work before Yarmouth, and she's gone and done everything right again.
Very good decision by racing manager. Right on the ball, Anthony. What sort of plans have you got? I mean, she's beautifully bred, and she's done it nicely here in what, a Group 2?
Well, I think it's particularly pleasing, you know, being a homebred. And I think most likely, obviously, subject to Sheikh Mohammed's approval, she'll probably stay in training next year. That would be the plan. I mean, she was destined actually to go to America, but we might have to review the situation.
Keep her here for British fans. I've got to ask you, where on earth did you get that cap?
Same place. Well, Pat Henry keeps saying to me, where did I get that cap? And I keep saying the same place as we found him.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations, you two.
Thanks very much.
Nice win. On our way now back to Longchamp, let's get confirmation of the last race in Paris, the Prix Dollar. JT.
Won by number 4, Alderbrook. Second, number 6, Voloshine. And third, number 3, French Park. The Paddy Mutual return. The winner paid 4.90 francs. The places 190 and 120. And the Jubilee came to 14.70. That's a straight forecast and 6 ram.
France's top 2 race at the top of the Longchamp Hill. 1 mile it is, the Grand Criterium, Group 2, and here on the left is Goldmark, followed through by Walk On Mix, then the British challenger Montjoy with Richard Quinn on board, and finally into the picture will be, what's the favourite, likely favourite, Indian Jones. Jim.
Well, these are certainly 4 bonny colts, different in their way. Montjoy is a horse that many racegoers in England will know. He's powerful, rangy, and of decent size. He's not the tallest horse in this field, but he looks wonderfully well. 1 or 2 of the Irish horses in the first race we showed you definitely gone in their coats. It's a warm day for horses that have done that. It's about 18, 19 degrees Celsius, and as you hopefully you gather from these pictures, very pleasant conditions, where of course we've had differing weather in England over the last fortnight or so. But Montjoy certainly looks well enough to do himself justice. He represents probably the best form line here. He did look short of pace over 7 furlongs last time. I'd be surprised if Richard Quinn doesn't attack today. MONTJOY, a son of the great French horse Manila, who beat Dancing Brave in that unforgettable Breeders' Cup in 1986. Tremendous horse in America, son of Leafard. These French horses against him have all been running over a mile. They've therefore all demonstrated an ability to run over the distance. There's Walk On Mix going in, a son of the mile record holder here at Longchamp, Lena Mix, also owned by Mr. Lagardère. He's the mount of Thierry Janet. He seems quite a headstrong type too. They're ready.
And they're running. MONTJOY on the outside, Yellow Jacket Indian Jones, Grey the Rare Walk On Mix, and settled 404 Gold Mark. So it's Indian Jones at the head of affairs for the Bhutan Yard from Walk On Mix in second. MONTJOY showing third, and then Gold Mark is fourth of four. They begin their spin out of the first turn, and it's Indian Jones who made the running when he last ran, or at least disputed it until he kicked and went on in impressive style under Cash, who rides him, Indian Jones, by a length and a half. Different tactics today for Walk On Mix in second place. MONTJOY holding a good position out wide in third. Fourth of four is Gold Mark. And so they come down towards the halfway stage in this, the Grand Criterium. Won in the past by the likes of Hector Protector, Arazzi and Tenby. Anything of that calibre in this field, judge for yourself. It's Indian Jones, the blue cap, grey colours, Walk On Mix, the powerful MONTJOY on the outside. Gold Mark is fourth of four. One turn to take, and then 2.5 furlongs to the line. And it's MONTJOY bowling along on the outside of Walk On Mix. Gold Mark in behind them, Indian Jones the rail. And it's MONTJOY under Richard Quinn, quickening up the tempo, going on from Walk On Mix, and Indian Jones falls quickly. The danger comes from Gold Mark, the white sleeve jacket on the outside, and it's MONTJOY with Walk On Mix, and here on the outside with a rush is Gold Mark. Indian Jones is pulling up there inside the final furlong. Any three of them could win. Gold Mark the stand side. The white sleeve jacket edging into the lead, 50 yards to go. This goes to Gold Mark. Gold Mark is our winner from Walk On Mix second, and MONTJOY is third. And these clear of a very distressed Indian Jones. And so the result then of this, the Grand Criterium, it's a win for number one, Gold Mark. Another Group 1 winner for Sheikh Mohammed. This one trained here in France by André Fabre, for whom it is the 110th winner on the Parisian tracks this season. And this son of Leafard showed a determined late rush to come and take no slouches in Walk On Mix, and the very brave, very powerful MONTJOY. And it looks as if the Sheikh Mohammed camp are really going to go to war, well, certainly towards the end of this year and next, with this Gold Mark and Penny Camp. But this is Gold Mark's success, this Leafard horse, Sylvain Guillot's 43rd winner around these Parisian tracks, two clear of Walk On Mix.
Well, I must say, turning in, if you watch this horse closely, I thought he was the least likely of the quartet to win, but they got a cracking gallop from the outset. Initially, Indian Jones, as they, from halfway, MONTJOY, and in between them, Walk On Mix, all seemed to want to mix it up front. The eventual winner, Gold Mark, had been changing his legs as they rounded the bend. Didn't look entirely happy. Look at his rather splayed action. Don't know if this horse, if he was considered a Guineas horse beforehand, a Newmarket Guineas horse, whether he's got the action with the suit the dip. See, changes his legs again, and they come close together, but you can't say from watching it initially, or I didn't think you could, that anything was unduly affected by the fact that they may have rolled together for a stride or two. And here now, as we go into the closing 150 metres or so, it's Sylvain Guillot who's really driven this horse into his bridle, taken a while to hit top gear, forges clear relentlessly to win, clench fist, and wins in tremendous style. As for Indian Jones, well, he dropped out very quickly. As Graham said, he looked terribly distressed, and we understand that he has in fact suffered what looks a very serious leg injury.
Penny Camp won the Salamander, these colours, and now Gold Mark produces another Group 1 for the maroon and white. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Newmarket. I'm standing in the parade ring. The 30 horses now parading in front of the huge crowd for the first leg of the autumn double, the William Hill Cambridgeshire. We'll be concentrating on that very shortly. First, a couple of open days to tell you about. There's one tomorrow. Robert Olner, the trainer at Hazelbury Bryan. Isn't that a lovely name for a village? It's in Dorset. 12:30 onwards tomorrow, they've got a donkey derby, and Adrian Maguire's riding in a donkey derby. That could be good fun. Robert Olner's open day at Hazelbury Bryan in Dorset from 12:30 tomorrow. Open day here at Newmarket, the Horse and Pony Rescue Centre. All proceeds in aid of rescuing horses and ponies, and that's at Kennet, just about 3 miles the other side of Newmarket. That's between 10 and 2. If you can go along and help that, it's a very close charity of mine. That's the Horse and Pony Rescue Centre. Now, charity or picture puzzle, there's 3 first prize of £100 to be won if you can guess the name of this horse. Here it is. It's running somewhere today. The name on the blackboard might help you. If you can't read that, it does say Newmarket. Well, you'll have to work that one out for yourself. It's running somewhere today. The number to ring is 0891 991144. 0891 991144. We're going to announce the 3 lucky winners who'll each receive £100 live on Channel 4 Racing later this afternoon. Let's have a look at an old favourite, the top weight here in the Cambridgeshire, number 1 Malotti, who's attempting not 1 but 2 records here, attempting a weight and age record. He's 9 years old. No 9-year-old has ever won the Cambridgeshire before, the horse that old, and no horse has ever carried 9 stone 10, that sort of weight. And this horse won the race in 1991, but badly drawn in 4.
And quite extraordinary, this Malotti is running in the race for the 5th time, 7th last year, 8th 2 years ago, won it in 91 at 10 to 1, and was beaten by Risen Moon in 1990 when a 10 to 1 chance. And as Thomas said, at 9 he will be the oldest winner of the race, the 8-year-old Baronet in 1980, and you go back to the Widow in 1847, won it as an 8-year-old, and will be attempting a weight-carrying record in the race of 9 stone 10. Tremblant carried 9 stone 8 to win in 1980, 9 years ago. Tremblant won with 9 stone 8. So it's quite extraordinary. These horses like Rambo's Hauler won it twice, Baronet who won it twice, trying to emulate them, of course. And you go to Prince de Galles and also Steropi since the war. The 4 horses to win Cambridgeshire's twice. Malotti could be a 5th, oldest weight-carrying record, everything against it, but so popular here. Who's to say he certainly won't do it? Double carpet, 33 to 1 against Malotti. But you know, all of us in our time have had Yankees. Probably you today have got a Yankee going at some time, and maybe it's on the move even. Well, Eddie Sutherland on Wednesday had a cracking £5 Yankee, tax paid, and here he is, and yes, all 4-1. Eddie, how much do you pick up?
£109,000.
£109,000 for a 5 Yankee. And look at the horses you had. It was on Wednesday. They're all on Channel 4, and the first one tried to please at 8 to 1. Why did you pick that for a start?
Well, I just looked at it, went from 91 to 81.
Are you a form man, or do you follow newspapers, or...?
No, just by myself.
Just by yourself, and then you had evening performance at 5 to 1. Well, anybody could have picked that. Yes, even rather chance of that. But where did you get the middle part winner Fard from? Double carpet, 33 to 1. The member stormed up the stand rails, ridden by Willie Carson.
Oh, just back Willie Carson's horses.
Do you?
Yes.
You didn't back him in every race here, did you?
No, not every race.
So you happened to pick it. Comes from Scotland, of course, Willie. And Fram, of course, 11 to 2 won the 4th. You paid your tax on, and you get a 20% extra bonus because of dear old Ladbrokes. Come on, let's have the check. This is embarrassing, isn't it? Here it is. Ladbrokes handing over the cheque. Eddie Sutherland picked up £109,911. Eddie, how are you going to spend it? Don't say it won't alter your life. I can't bear to hear that. Come on.
No, I'll go back away to my family.
Yeah, whereabouts will you go?
Oh, we're all booked up for holidays. I'll go with my family.
Yeah, but you aren't going to go to sort of Ayr or down to Southend, are you? No, where will you go?
Hawaii.
Hawaii? Good Lord. I may go there in November. We don't fall into me. I'll be tapping you for some money. You'll have a great time there. You've done the dream that we all want to do, picking it up. And how nervous were you when the last race was on?
Very, very nervous.
And do you prefer Channel 4 to the BBC?
Yes.
Channel 4?
Channel 4.
He backs the winners on 4!
Channel 4.
Terrific, that. It proves that it actually can be done. But news coming in from Newcastle Hospital. Peter Caldwell, the young jump jockey, had a bad fall at Hexham yesterday. No change in his condition, poorly but stable. We wish Peter all the best. And we have news coming in from Utoxeter. JT.
The 305 won by number 2, Captain Chance at 3 to 1. Second, number 6, Murphy Street, 20 to 1. And third, number 5, Knightly Argus at 8 to 1. Number 3, Cosmic Force was 7 to 4 favourite and 9 ran.
Now then, the back of the most famous jockey in the world, 58 years of age, Lester Piggott. And you know what he's trying to do here? Apart from trying to win the Cambridgeshire, he's trying to win it for the first time. Would you believe this is one of the 2 big races he's never won? The Lincoln is the other one. The Cambridgeshire, it's his 37th ride. And can he get the elusive first win in the Cambridgeshire on number 10, Mr. Confusion, one of 2 runners for Midland trainer Sally Hall in this. And Leicester seems to have got a good draw in 21. And doesn't this horse look well? Could today be his day in the William Hill Cambridgeshire, the first leg of the autumn double? The 30 runners, they're named by our commentator, Rawley Gilbert.
Yes, 30 runners, and they're faced with these straight 9 furlongs with the stalls against the stand-side rails. The field headed by number 1, Melody, drawn 4, John Lowe, 33 to 1. 2 at 16, American Swinger, 14 to 1, shot, Ray Cochrane. Number 3, drawn 13, River Board. Michael Roberts, one of the outsiders, 50 to 1. Number 4, Dyer, drawn 22, Walter Swinburne, 16 to 1. 5 is Palace Pageant from the 10-store Willie Ryan at 33 to 1. Number 6, KV, who is a 25 to 1 shot, drawn 6 and ridden by Tony Clark. Number 7, Noth, under Jimmy Quinn at 14 to 1 from 19. Number 8 is Green Crusader, who is drawn 11, ridden by Dean McEwen, a past winner in this race, and at 20 to 1. Number 9, Desert Green, 14 stall, Richard Perham at 25 to 1. Number 10, Mr. Confusion, drawn 21, Lester Piggott at 33 to 1. And then 11, William Tell, with John Reid, they're drawn 15, 16 to 1. Number 12, Halling, drawn 24, a 9 to 1 shot for Frankie Dettori. And then one of the joint favourites, Jawal, number 13, drawn 26, Kevin Darley. Number 14, drawn 1, that's right on the near side, Deer Hunt under Pat Edry at 12 to 1. 15, Castle Rossello, drawn 3, Alan Mackay at 25 to 1. And then number 16, this is Show Faith Blinkered for the very first time. Gary Carter, they're drawn 17, 25 to 1. Number 17, Moving Arrow, who's drawn 20. Nicky Knorton at 20 to 1. 18, drawn 23, Hunters of Brora. And Richard Hill's now looking for a double, 25 to 1. 19, Mansai, drawn 12. Dale Gibson at 14 to 1. 20 is CJA, who's ridden by Lindsay Charnock at 50 to 1. And they're drawn 8. Number 21, and this is a little late overweight here. We just got a message, a pound over here for Philip Robinson at 7.10. That's Ringmaster, the 8 to 1 joint favourite, who is drawn 29. And then 22, Sweet Millionaire from 25, Joe Fanning at 16 to 1. The next 3 all at 50 to 1. 23, Zermatt, drawn 30. Corey Adamson claiming £7. In fact, he can't make the weight. He's a pound over at 7.1. And then 24, Secret Arlie, drawn 5, Robert Street. And number 25, DV, partnered by Nicky Adams, there, drawn 27. All those 3 at 50 to 1. And it's 66 to 1 the next one. That's 26, Prize Fighter. A pound over here at 7.8 for Neil Kennedy. They're drawn 2. 27, drawn 28, Conic Hill. Gary Bardwell at 50 to 1. Also at 50s, number 28, which is Barford Ladd under Nicky Carlisle. Drawn 7. 29 is Master of the House, partnered by Jeff Marshall at 66 to 1. Neither he nor Darren Moffat could claim all of their 5. They're putting up exactly £5 over each of those 2 at 7.7. Darren Moffat's mount being number 30, no comebacks, draw 9, and this one is at 100 to 1. 30 runners then for the first leg of the autumn double, the William Hill Cambridgeshire.
Now here's a couple of safe conveyances. Little John and Saxon, the police horses who have led the parade for the Cambridgeshire. Little John 10 years old, Saxton 16 years old, and aren't they beautifully turned out? Lovely. Now then, meanwhile, the runners are making their way down towards the 9 furlong start for this one of the most famous races in the calendar. You remember we were talking to Philip Robinson on the morning line. He told us he'd hardly eaten anything all week. He's done £1 over at 7.10 on Ringmaster. The rain has come right. But what about this one? Well, Sheikh Mohammed's horses are in tremendous form. Winners already at Newmarket and Longchamp this afternoon. And this is number 12, Halling, a very progressive 3-year-old from the John Gosson stable. Halling showed plenty of courage last time out when winning at Doncaster, and he had no fewer than 4 of today's rivals behind him on that occasion, including Green Crusader, who made him work very hard for victory.
and the white cap Halling pressed on the outside in pink by Lerwath. Black cap out wide is Latam, the blinkered runner is Green's Crusader. Behind these comes Kettlestone, who's got no room on the yellow colours. Laxer Bridge on the wide outside. They come past the furlong pole, and it's Halling in the lead. Here goes Green Crusader after him, and Walter Swinburne on, getting a great run out of Green Crusader, but Halling is fighting back. It's going to be a close call, this. Halling takes it. Halling in a photo on the line from Green Crusader.
Tremendous performance, game performance by Halling there, and indeed a good performance by Green Crusader, but there's a line of form which suggests that Green Crusader has got a fair amount to do, and therefore through him Halling may have a lot to do. For instance, Deer Hunt, number 14 Deer Hunt. Admittedly, however, Deer Hunt is badly drawn, while Halling, drawn 24. How much difference is that going to make, John?
Well, the way that this colt won at Doncaster, Halling, he really stuck his head out. That was 1.25 miles. It's a furlong less this afternoon, and I think the rain's just come in time for him. If it had been really fast, I'd have just perhaps had a doubt in my mind that maybe he'd have just been struggling to hold a position early on. But he's a horse who's obviously improving, as is Jewel, who's improved throughout the season. And we watched him win here early on, put up a really good performance, continued to improve and thrive, and ran probably his best race, I should think, of the season, when he went under by about a length to Fram at Goodwood last time out. Green Crusader, we've already had a look at that one. This is the mount of Dean McEwen, and again a really tough, consistent colt, and since he ran in that race at Doncaster, he's just held on to beat Deer Hunt at Newbury, and there's not going to be much between either Deer Hunt, Halling or this fella. I feel doesn't matter where they're drawn.
No, the weights do favour Deer Hunt, who's 10 pounds better for only half a length with Green Crusader, but doesn't always work out, that kind of calculation. And there is Deer Hunt. Sadly, well, probably sadly, he's drawn number 1, as you see, but as I've already said, he's 10 pounds better for only, actually for 1 3/4 lengths. Green Crusader beat him. Deer Hunt's only won 1 race in his life, and it's true that Peter Makin hasn't been absolutely flooding the winner's enclosure this season, but his horses haven't been right much of the time. This one might turn it for him.
They've certainly been running much better, and I can remember watching this horse win his first race, and he was ridden on that occasion up at Ripon. I know they thought he was almost a group horse, well, with 8-6 on his back, and even at a stall when he's got to have a good chance.
Michael Stout trains Daya, the dancing horse who'll be ridden by Walter Swinburne. He's been consistently good this season and ran perhaps his best race last time, second to Lap of Luxury. He was only beaten a couple of lengths, and Malotti was a long way behind him that day.
Well, Daya Man did a real touch at Ascot, his first run for a long time, and a horse that won at Ascot just a week ago was Ringmaster. We've just seen Latam being beaten up at Doncaster by Halling. Well, this horse absolutely pulverising. Philip Robinson's done well to get down to do 7.9, a pound overweight on this horse, and again the rain certainly helped his cause. Really improved since the ground has softened.
Tomo, I know, fancies Sweet Mignonette. I think she was his charity bet this morning, and no wonder really. She's won 11 of her 31 races, a wonderfully consistent 6-year-old mare, and there's absolutely no evidence from her form this season that she's anything near as deterioration.
Well, note's bound to come into the reckoning here, if for no other reason the fact that he's trained by Reg Akers. Jimmy Quinn will be pleased to win on this horse. He's got I thought, a rather unfortunate slagging for getting beaten on Jewel. If you remember, he had a fall the day before, and well, we'll see. But there's no doubt that Noth has definitely got a chance on his best form. He's already won at Sandown this year, put up a good race behind Barouge, who's gone on and franked the form, only beaten a couple of lengths on that occasion. An American Swinger, no doubt that he's certainly got the class to win this. He's got 9 stone 6 and Ray Cochran on his back. He's not badly drawn out of stall 16. We've seen him plenty of times on Channel 4. He's a good 1.25 mile horse.
Finished not far behind Alderbrook in his last run at Goodwood, so that form's been complemented in France today. Mansai, trained by John Gosden and ridden by Dale Gibson, ran really well against our Commodore in a big handicap at Goodwood. That was his last run. There is Mansai, John Gosden's Mr. Prospector colt.
Well, William Tell was a hot favourite to follow up a Newbury win here at Newmarket on his last run. Never ever got into the race, was never going at all, but I know he's very highly thought of by Fulk Johnson Horton, his trainer. If he can reproduce the form of that win at Newbury, he's another who'd have more than just a reasonable chance here.
And the reins helped him tremendously, William Tell. The softer the better for him. Let's have a look at the old hero Malotti, the 1991 winner. This is his 5th Cambridgeshire. How lovely it would be if he could equal the age record for winners and beat the weight carrying record. Well, it won't be for want of trying, either him or John Lowe. But let's have a full show of betting now from John Tyrrell.
Thank you, John. And Jawal heads the market at 8 to 1. Ringmaster on 9s, opened at 8s. And Hurling another 9 to 1 chance back from 8 to 1. Deer Hunt 11 to 1 from 12s. And Oath is 12 to 1 from 14s. American Swinger steady on the 14 to 1 mark. And Dyer is 14s from 16s. Mansai is a 16 to 1 chance, along with William Tell and Sweet Mignonette. And also Moving Arrow, this time in from 20s. Green Crusader is at 20 to 1, KV on 25s, together with Castel Rosello, Show Faith, Hunters of Brora, and Desert Green is 33 to 1 from 25s. Melotti is also at 33s, Palace Pageant 33 to 1, and Mr. Confusion the same price. And Zermatt is at 50s, along with Secret Ali and DV. Riverboard 66 to 1, together with CJA and Conic Hill and Barford Lad, and also Prize Fighter and Master of the House. And the Extreme Outsider, no comebacks, 100 to 1, all quoted for the Cambridgeshire.
Well, Leicester's Mount, looking for his first Cambridgeshire winners, you've been told repeatedly. It'll be a great welcome for him too, and it's not impossible. Mr. Confusion's last form wasn't much cop, but he's been placed in the Magnet Cup and close up in the Zetland Gold Cup. He's a good really good handicapper on his day.
Yeah, wonderful run in that Magnet Cup. A little bit disappointing since then, but definitely not without a chance. Well, let's have a look at the eye catchers. It was Dyer for me, so he'd done really well. Moving to post was Moving Arrow, who caught Rawley's eye. Deavy didn't, and down in the betting ring, well, most of the money is for Halling.
And 3 of the last 4 Cambridges have gone to red hot favourites, really well back. Penny Drops, Rambo's Hall, and also Risen Moon. And the move now is for Halling. Ladbrokes, a Magic Sign, are backing that, and it's coming from 11 to 1. It's now 8 to 1 joint favourite, along with Jawal, who's pretty solid. Jawal at 8 to 1. They pushed out Ringmaster out to 9 to 1 Ringmaster. A lot of money in the offices for that this morning. 11 to 1 Deer Hunt, drawn right on the fence near the near side. And 12 to 1 they've come in for. Notes put in at 12 to 1 with 14 American Swinger. Dyer has been back from 16 to 14, and 14 to 1 pretty solid William Tell, and money for Mansai number 19 at 16 to 1, along with Moving Arrow at 16 to 1, and a complete rag number 28 Barford Lad is double carpet twice 66 to 1, though it has been 7th and 5th in past Cambridge's Barford Lad. One or two people nibbling at that because of his past record in the race, but it's 8 to 1 the field, and the stronger now is Halling over Jawal.
Now, certainly is a fabulous race this. Let's have a look at Moving Arrow now. That's the one that caught Rawley's eye going down, and really strong horse this, only a 3-year-old by Indian Ridge. Finished behind Hunters of Brora, who's, well, she's a decent filly. She was a little bit unlucky last time, mate. She got struck into. So wherever Moving Arrow finishes, don't expect Hunters of Brora to be too farther away. Conic Hill's one of the last to go in. Pat Edry on this side, just taking the weight off of Deer Hunt's back, and an enormous crowd here this afternoon despite the drizzly weather. All eyes focused down to that 9 furlong start.
Well, a really fine sight, the packed stands. And a last look at the betting with John Terrell.
Jawal and Holling both at 8-1, Ringmaster on 9-1, and Deer Hunt at 11-1 chance, Noth on 12s, American Swing at 40s, together with Dyer and Moving Arrow, Mansai at 16-1 with William Tell and Sweet Mignonette, and 20-1 Bardot.
Well, I was lucky enough to ride out with Mark Tompkins this morning. They would like it even softer for Ringmaster, but Ringmaster and Deer Hunt, they would carry my money if I was betting.
Well, I agree with you certainly about Ringmaster. Also, I think Dyer looked a really powerful horse, the sort of horse who's improving at the moment. But really, most of these are here with a chance. And, well, let's hope that the ground, which played such a significant part in our earlier race, doesn't have too much effect here. Last couple going in. Here's Simon.
Thank you, John. All lined up, 30 across the course here at Newmarket for this William Hill Cambridgeshire. The last one just going in now, and all pretty relaxed in the stalls, just about set to go. Started giving them the final order, and out they jump. Palace Pageant was a fast starter. Very slow away was DV towards the rear of the field, and Zermatt on the far side, a confirmed front runner, just about the leader through the first furlong, followed by Conic Hill as they settle down, with Prize Fighter right up there also, chased by American Swinger and then Halling, and Leicester's prominent with Mr. Confusion. Back in behind them then Ringmaster towards the far side with William Tell chasing them up. Green Crusader in the midfield at the moment. Jawal towards the far side with DV. And then nearest the camera, pulling hard, Castel Rosello in the blue sleeve jacket. Man-size prominent, and so is Deer Hunt. So a tightly packed field then as they head towards the halfway stage. Over to Roy.
And you probably saw Secret Alley a bit unfortunate there, got knocked, but his prize fighter still ahead on the near side with the nose bound up the centre. Conic Hill and Zermatt still both very prominent. Joining the leaders on the far side is American Swinger, and just in after them Mansai getting much closer as they come down to the final 4 furlongs of the race. All still pretty well grouped with Conic Hill and Zermatt in the centre and American Swinger. Sweet Mignonette there in the yellow cap, followed by Jawal, one of the joint favourites. Halling, the other one, is right up there as well. And they're absolutely stretched right across the track as they come down past the 3 furlong pole, with Zermatt going on once more from Sweet Mignonette. Coming between the two is Halling, and then Jawal. On the extreme outside, Hunter's Aurora, the filly. Down to the last 2 furlongs they come, and Bellotti is getting a bit closer now on the near side, as is Castel Rosello, but it's now Halling who's taken it up. Halling from Hunter's Aurora and Sweet Mignonette. These are the first 3. They're being followed then by William Tell coming late, and Mr. Confusion as well. They meet the rising ground as they race out of the dip, and it's all Halling now. Halling drawing right away with Frankie Dettori to win the Cambridgeshire in great style. Halling with 150 yards to go, an easy winner. Hunter's Aurora second. Mr. Confusion and Leicester finished third in 4. William Tell. These were followed by KB, Sweet Mignonette, Bellotti, then Secret Alley, Unlucky Green Crusader, and I'm watching the back markers go over the line. Prize Fighter, Castel Rosello, Master of the House, Conic Hill, DV, Noth, and last of all in the end in 30th place was Palace Pageant. The blinkers first time didn't work for him, but it's Halling, the 8-1 co-favourite in the end, who's prevailed and run out a very easy winner. Halling, a double for owner Sheikh Mohammed here at Newmarket. Of course, he won with La Confederation in the previous race at 5-1. He's had a winner in Paris as well. Halling trained for him here at Newmarket by John Gosden and ridden by the champion jockey-elect Frankie Dettori, his 222nd winner of the season. Here he is, Halling, the maroon, white sleeves. Hunter's Aurora, though, ran a great race, the filly, under Richard Hill. She's on the left in the red cap. Over on the far side, just getting the picture out of it now, Secret Alley, and I thought he was very unlucky indeed. But in the end, no doubt about it, the Cambridgeshire has gone to number 12. That's Halling. From in second place, number 18, Hunter's Aurora, bounded by Richard Hills. With in third place, number 10, which was Mr. Confusion, and in fourth, number 11, William Tell.
Well, if Sheikh Mohammed's watching, he must get almost bored of seeing his colours come home in front. He's won the last 3 races we've televised for you, including, of course, the Grand Criterium and the Sun Chariot, and now Halling and Frankie at the Cambridgeshire.
Well, I shouldn't think that Frankie could believe quite how well he was going. He gave this horse a crack round the backside, and it picked up immediately and really did lengthen up well. as they've hit the rising ground. But Hunter's Abrora, she's run a smashing race, and she's certainly made this colt of John Gosden's pull out all the stops for, well, for the best part of the last part of the race. And just have a look, he's just given Hallen a couple of cracks, just coming to challenge the horse there just over on the other side, which is Mr. Confusion, just coming there with a yellow cap. Hunter's Abrora with a sheepskin noseband. Halling there, William Tell just beginning to drop back now, and it's really left to these two. And Halling, it's well, it's this wonderfully tough colt by Dices, who really sticks his head out. And just have a look, the further they go, the better that he's going, and I'm sure that he's a horse you'll see much more of. Don't be surprised for a moment if he's taken on mile and a quarter, mile and a half listed races before the end of the season. Really impressive performance.
And poor old Leicester, only third.
And Halling, an 11-to-1 chance in the officers this morning, 10-to-1 on the course, back down by the officers. Ladbroke's got going into it, returned 8-to-1, co-favourite of 3, and the other 8-to-1 chances were Jawal and Ringmaster. The runner-up, Hunter's Abrora, sent off at a pony, 25-to-1. The third, Mr. Confusion and Leicester, double carpet, 33-to-1 chance, with William Tell fourth, that's at 14-to-1. And that Halling is extraordinary as a double for Sheikh Mohammed of the two big races of the day, and it was a really well-backed horse at Doncaster, you remember, when winning recently on Channel 4, although it drifted compared to its horse of the same ownership who was beaten now, I can't remember who it was now, against Halling, but it really ran well that day on Channel 4. But for Lester Piggott on Mr. Confusion, as we said, he's never won the Cambridgeshire, but he has been third twice in it. He was third on Camandoo in '69, and on Ides of March 34 years ago, Leicester was third in the Cambridgeshire. He's third again on Mr. Confusion, a double carpet, 33-to-1. His loyal supporters won't grumble at that price, but a well-backed favourite, joint favourite or co-favourite was this Howling at 8-to-1. And the distances, no, the fifth horse they're giving now, so we won't worry about that. So, as I said, 8-to-1 Halling, the best market mover in the race for Frankie Dettori, our guest on the morning line.
Well, don't suppose that Frankie will have too much time to rest on his laurels. He's got 3 or 4 rides still to come this afternoon, and then off to Paris first thing in the morning. And he's only got 2 rides in Longchamp, but they're 2 rides that most jockeys would give a right arm for. A Locksong in the L'Abbe and only Royale in the Arc. And away for the crowd.
He's a great crowd pleaser, John, isn't he?
Well, he is. You know, it's
lovely to see somebody who looks really pleased when they win.
I think it's good for the sport in many ways. It probably, I mean, he's been wasting for 3 or 4 days, he was saying on the morning line this morning, and still retains his enthusiasm. It's not always easy when you're not having anything to eat. But there's no doubt that a win in this Cambridgeshire bring the smile back onto his face, take any thoughts of hunger away. And, John Gosden on the right, Anthony Stroud listening to what he has to say, and it's always important, one of the most important things, like having a really good racing driver. It's not just actually what they do during the race, it's what they can come back and tell you. One of the most important things of a top jockey. Allen, one of the favourites, here's his SP.
First number 12, Holling, 8-to-1 co-favourite. Second number 18, Hunter's Abrora, 25-to-1. Third number 10, Mr. Confusion at 33-to-1. And the fourth horse, number 11, William Tell, returned at 14-to-1. Number 13, Jawal, and number 21, Ringmaster, were the other co-favourites. The trade paid $9.20 for the win. The places $270, $850, $430 and $340. And the dual forecast going to £244.20.
That Sun Life have introduced the over 50.